Our podcast is a part of the World Podcast Network, now with over 1,000 podcasts. Visit the World Podcast Network at worldpodcast.network to listen to podcasts in over 12 genres. Come vote our podcast episodes up and help us rise on the leaderboard. If you have a podcast of your own, you can join for free. Welcome to Reality Tea Times 2, the podcast where we discuss all the trash reality TV we love to hate. I am Tanika, and today we are going to be discussing MILF Manor. But before we do, we're going to do a couple pieces of hot goss. So, Golden Bachelorette. So I have a few different things. We'll see how long this goes. We might just do the one kind of big piece of hot goss, or we'll do a couple. But Joan has started filming the spinoff last month. This is according to Reality Steve, but he has spoiled that we have definitely one contestant has been kind of confirmed. And that person is Mark Anderson, who is, what's her face? Joey's girl. What's her name again? Kelsey's dad. So that is definitely confirmed. He is a contestant. We won't probably know all contestants yet until after Bachelorette is finished. But this is kind of what we know how this is kind of confirmed. So Reality Steve spilled that Mark has, at the very least, did not go home on the first night. He most likely, he did get a one-on-one, so that's been confirmed. So we will at least see him past the first night, kind of not like, I remember Pat James's mom, Patty, only made it. She didn't make it past the first night, so we're at least gonna have a little bit more from him. But with that being said, with Golden Bachelorette, there were rumors that Susan Lucci was actually going to be the Golden Bachelorette, or she was at least running to be the next Golden Bachelorette. Now, gather around, children. If you don't know who Susan Lucci is, I would say if you're 20 and younger listening to the podcast, you're not going to know who Susan Lucci is. Susan Lucci was on a little soap opera called All My Children. She was really and truly the face, the heart of All My Children. And I watched All My Children with my grandmother, so yeah. But anyways, she apparently declined, as we kind of heard this, and so the reason she kind of declined is that she's still kind of coping with her husband's death. He died in 2022, and she's also coping with heart disease. So she's kind of dealing with kind of a lot, and this was kind of the reason why. When it comes to the marriage, she says that, her and her husband got married back in 1969. Their mom wasn't even born yet. And while she understands that love after loss is possible, she's just not ready to date yet, and that's understandable. She says that it's different for everyone, and part of it is a choice to get up off the floor and put one foot in front of the other. She says, it is better to go ahead with your life. She said, the other thing is that I know that this life is a gift. It's meant to be a gift from God, and I'm never going to thumb my nose at that. I'm grateful, and I'm very grateful to have the love and have had Helmet, which is her husband, in her life. So she's just not there yet. She says for that reason, Lucci said that she turned down the offer to be the Golden Bachelorette. She does, however, plan to watch Joan debut her season. So she's definitely going to be there. And she says that she's also focusing on her health after undergoing 2 procedures related to heart disease in the past 4 years. She said, I had a blockage, a 90% blockage in my main artery and a 75% blockage in the adjacent artery. And she continued to say, fortunately, I listened to my body, and there was someone there, which was our doctor, who could prod me to go to the hospital. She says that she's in good shape though, and she's feeling really good. It's just, not her time to worry about being on a show. The other thing though that I will mention, as we're kind of on the trope of Bachelor Nation, I also have an announcement on Golden Bachelorette, but ABC has renewed Bachelor in Paradise for its 10th season. It will be airing next year in 2025, so there's that. That's great. And ABC apparently announced this during Disney's presentation at the Summer 2024 Television Critics Association press tour, so that's where they mentioned it. And since we're also on the trope still of Golden Bachelorette, it was just announced that the very first season is going to be airing on September 18th. Not sure if that was mentioned during the first episode of Bachelorette, which I have not watched yet, but that's when it's coming. So September 18th, everybody, yay! Which I think will kind of be either it's going to overlap Jen's season, or it's going to be like wham bam to the next thing kind of thing, which is fine. But yeah, that's basically everything with respect to the Golden Bachelor plus just Bachelor in general. Next thing, a little information on Married at First Sight season 18 and how things could possibly be improved after the last few seasons of failure. So apparently season 18 is going to kind of have an advantage off of season 17. So with season 17's terrible success rate, which we know how that went, came on the heels of several seasons worth of bad matching and breakups. The only people who are still together, which I'm actually really surprised by this, is season 14's Katina and Olajuwon, aka O. Listen. I did not talk about this season, obviously. I wasn't podcasting at the time. But man, oh man, I cannot believe these two are still together. I can't. But anyways, they're still together. As well as season 16's Nicole and Chris, which that's not really surprising necessarily, but they're still together for the last 4 seasons. Viewers have noted in their online discussion that they are tired of seeing poorly matched people and unnecessary drama with little help from the experts to make their relationships work. 100% agree. I mean, I love drama, don't get me wrong, but I also want to see successful marriages. This is the point of the show. And the thing with this is, in the last few seasons, the experts have taken kind of a back seat. And I don't understand why, even more so, because it never used to be this way. But viewer perception could change in the Married at First Sight season 18, thanks to an advantage the cast now has. The Married at First Sight network has put itself in a position where the season 18 couples have to not only provide entertainment value, but also show relationships with the potential for longevity. The MAFS producers have likely strategized a lot more with the season 18 casting, participant background checks, and cast clout chasing avoidance in order to make season 18 more successful. I've heard that's kind of also the way they're going with Love is Blind as well. Having a more thoughtful cast will not only benefit the participants in their marriages, but also the show as a whole, because it needs to produce more successful couples. Yeah, you do. The Married at First Sight experts are also largely to blame for the failure for so many couples, since they are responsible for matching the pairs and helping them overcome any obstacles so the marriages don't end in divorce. As we know, Dr. Pepper has been with the show since season 1 in 2014, while Pastor Cal joined in season 4. Dr. Pia obviously is our newest expert after having joined in season 15. So with a lot at stake for the experts, it is imperative that they get it right more often than not in this upcoming season. 100% agree. So more on this. So kind of the question is how season 18 going to benefit now? So Meredith First season 18 should produce charismatic and relatable couples while providing fans with some drama and the entertainment value associated with that. The show will be in a much better place. Viewers want to love the show. Yeah, we do. That has been on for a decade, but it's been made tough with all the mismatched couples, aloof experts, and the weak drama. So Meredith First Sight could keep its loyal fan base from finding other shows if they just improve some shit. So no word on when we can expect season 18, but except for we're supposed to be getting it sometime in the fall. So I imagine we probably will get it maybe in the beginning of October. We'll see. But of course, like I said, I am going to give the season one or the show one more chance. If season 18 does not produce and is producing what we've been getting, I will not be covering it past, so we'll see how it goes. But thank you to Screen Rant for that article. Very insightful. So let's get into the reason that we are here. So MILF Manor Season 2, Episode 11, MILF Actually. So Chris goes to go talk to Barby. If you remember last episode, Barby was obviously very upset with how things turned out with Chris, just unexpectedly. And she says to him, no, I can't do this right now. And he says, yes, listen, I did shut down. I apologize for not hearing you. I felt disrespected. He says, listen, I would have left with my dad if it wasn't for you. And he said, last night was just so perfect. And she says, so then why are we here right now? And she's very upset. She's crying. She's like, it makes me not trust you. That maybe you don't even want to be in this. And he says, I would not be up here otherwise. Please do not leave. He apologizes, and she apologizes, and it looks like they have resolved the issue. So it's the next day. We see some people just coming while we have some of the people just talking, you know? And basically, it's the ladies' loved ones. We got friends, we got family members, sisters, aunties, daughters. So, yeah. Christina's friend is kind of a woohoo girl. And it looks like maybe Christina's maybe a little bit of a woohoo girl herself. We'll see. We meet Kate, who's Barbie's friend. She says that Kate's her rock. Kelly Mac's daughter is also here. Her name is Michelle. And Sam goes to meet Michelle, and he's like, now, if only she showed up a little earlier. He's into it. But Darren is like, no, no, you can't date her daughter while I'm dating her mom. That's a little weird. And Sam puts him in check and says, weirder than doing a striptease in front of your son? Anyways, Crystal's sister is here. I also almost forgot this. Shauna's Aunt Sharon with an E is here. We got JoJo for Rebecca. And then we have a son. We have a son, y'all. And that son's name is Joey. And that's Kelly's son, Joey, who used to be on season 1, just in case anyone hasn't watched season 1. He was on season 1. And so, yeah, he is back. Back again. Joey's back. Go tell a friend. Anyways. So, we also find out here that it's Barbie's birthday. So, happy birthday to Barbie. This comes back a little bit. Unnecessarily, but it does come. So Rob tells Joey, son Joey, that she's the most attractive person here. And Joey, OG Joey, says, yeah, she is, I agree. What? And he's like, I mean, she's the most beautiful person ever. Listen, this season doesn't have the same cringe level as season 1 did. Please don't. Please don't. So Kelly Mac's daughter, Michelle, is kind of grilling the fuck out of Darren. What happened with your divorce? Why did that end? You know, how important is my mom to you? And all kind of nonsense. All the things that you do ask the person who's potentially going to date your mom. So he handles himself well, so it's all good. Anthony comes over to talk to Rebecca and JoJo. And it's fine. I know they're talking about, Rochester and all this. Like, that's all good. But then Connor comes over to steal some time. And they're like, we're going to tag team. So I'll tag you out and I'll tag you in. And it's weird. But, whatever. We do find out that Connor used to live in Colorado Springs for a time after he left Kuwait, I believe he was in, when he was in the military. So JoJo asks him, so have you dated older women before? And Connor says, well, I did date a girl who was 4 years older than me. That doesn't count, sweetie pie. And JoJo says it doesn't count. You guys are in the same decade. Like, that doesn't count at all. So again, kind of relating back to Sam, when Sam, I think it was Sam. No, it wasn't Sam. It was, what was his name? Ashley's son. When he said, oh, the oldest I've dated was like 35. And it's like, fuck me then. Like, are you serious? That doesn't count. I mean, I get it's older for you, but it's not that old. Anyways, so then Crystal is talking to her sister about Stacy, kind of filling her in on everything. This will come back. And then Kelly brings Joey over to meet Anthony, Joey 2.0. And Anthony kind of says to OG Joey that, yeah, I know Kelly was saying that you look just like my son. And, and then Kelly, fuck's sakes, Kelly then says, yeah, that's why I had to date him. This points to Joey 2.0. And I'm like, no. You don't say that's why I dated him if you look like my son. No. And then I think it was Joey 2.0 says, it's even worse than that. We actually did tantric yoga, both me and my dad, with her. So I think one of them, probably Kelly, says, yeah, it was like a threesome. And Joey OG is like, no, I agree. And then Anthony says to Joey OG, to Joey 2.0, this is so confusing, guys, bear with me. Joey 2.0, tell Joey OG that you kissed his mom. And the fuck. And Joey OG tells Joey 2.0, we're gonna talk about this later. Yeah, we'll talk about this later. This was the cringiest thing. It was so fucking unnecessary. This kind of brings back to season 1. And you're just like, this is why they strayed away from the Sons. Anyway. So then Joey goes to talk to Aunt Sharon. And Aunt Sharon asks him, so how do you feel about her being a mom with, I think, just 2 kids? And he's like, it's going to be a lot. He's only 21. But he does say that I do want to have kids of my own, for sure. Like, I'm going to kind of grow little needs. And Aunt Sharon's like, but here's the thing. You say you like to date older women, but there does come to a point with older women they either A, can't have more kids, scientifically speaking, or B, they don't want more kids. So how do you handle that? You know what I mean? So, yeah, so this is kind of now food for thought. And she does kind of say, I know my daughter, sorry, she's her aunt. I know Shauna doesn't want more kids. She may not be even able to have more kids. Like, we don't know that, right? Anyway. Then we see David talking to a woohoo friend. And you can tell that he is just mission oriented, she says, and that he could use kind of someone who's maybe a little more fun, help you live life. But I do not think like he actually wants a party girl. I think he wants a little bit more stability. Then we see Stacy talking to Crystal's sister, and she tells him, I don't know if you're fully ready to jump into something like serious. And she tells the camera, that I don't think that this is actually a love match because he's not ready for a relationship. This will come back. And then we kind of see Aunt Sharon talking to Shauna about the fact that Joey wants to have kids. And Shauna says that's not an option for her. She does not think that this is going to be it. She does not want kids. Christina tells Woo Girl that I know I said I didn't want to get remarried again after the divorce, but you never know. Maybe I might be moving to Texas. You never know. Then Crystal is talking to her sister, and she tells Crystal, listen, I don't think Stacy is ready. And she says that I was thinking of making a move to have him kiss me. You shouldn't have to fucking do that. He should want to kiss you. This is fucking ridiculous. And her sister says, listen, you gotta make him work for it. You also, I think what she's missing here is don't put yourself fucking out there for someone who is not receiving it or no one wants to really fully receive it. But with this information, Crystal still thinks this is going to work out with Stacy. I don't see how this is going to work out with Stacy. Anyways, that's basically it for now. We're going to take a break here, and when we come back, we will finish up the episode. And I am back. So let's get back into it. So Barby, she is going to be calling, or she's going to be getting a call from her son. Her friend, I think, kind of arranged this. Of course, it's her birthday, so that's why it's happening. And she tells her son's name's Elijah, she also calls him EJ, about how the experience has kind of been for her, and that she obviously has met someone. And she's like, he is one of the younger ones. And Elijah asks, like, so how old is he? 27. And what we find out a little later is that her son is 26. Yikes. So it's complete silence on his end when he hears this. And he just kind of says, where's the guy at? And Barby says, well, I can tell, like, your face, like, something, you're not feeling too good about this. Like, are you feeling away? He's like, kind of. Where is he at? So her friend goes and gets Chris and says, okay, you're going to be meeting Elijah. And he's like, oh, shoot. So they talk once he gets in the room, and he says that Elijah says that he does feel weird about meeting Chris. And he's like, what are your intentions with my mom? And he's like, they're all good intentions, but I know I have to meet you. He understands that's important. And he says, but listen, I do get it. I feel the same way when my mom has me meet someone new, kind of want to know who this person is. So, he understands him. And Barby, which I think is really great here, does kind of say, I do not blame my son for being uncomfortable, for being upset about this. I mean, how else would you respond to something like this when, you're dating a guy who is pretty much your age? There's only a year between them. So, yeah. Anyway, Anthony and Joey, we see them kind of talking, just kind of reminiscing about the fact that they're both happy that they did this experience and how it's kind of helped them grow. And Kelly kind of comes out and is kind of joining the conversation, but then so does Barby. And Barby explains to them that she just talked to her son, kind of how it went. And she says, when we talked about, me being on this show and obviously talking about last season and how that could have been, could have been cringy for him and all of those things. And then she says, no offense, but season 1 was tacky. Well, shots fucking fired. And Kelly responds with how? Here's the thing. In comparison, as a viewer, obviously you're not going to know this while being in the middle of it, but as a viewer of these 2 seasons, season 1 was tackier. It definitely was tackier, but it's a pilot season. You need to know kind of what works, what doesn't work, whatever. It was cringy, 110% more cringy than this season. So don't sit here acting like it wasn't cringy. It was fucking cringy. It was fucking tacky. It was all of those things. But obviously Kelly's gonna be in her high horse because she was on the first season, so yeah. Maybe Barbie could have used a different wording than tacky. I think cringy definitely got the point across. I think everyone can agree. Yes, this is cringy. First season was fucking cringy. So yeah, I think we can all agree with. So maybe tacky just wasn't the word to use. However, it was the word she used, and it's not necessarily incorrect. But of course, Kelly is gonna be Kelly, so she's like, I got another season. So how could I have gotten a new season if it was tacky? Her saying it's tacky isn't her saying it's a bad show. Those are two different things. Anyways, then we kind of, I guess, kind of go back and forth here. And I guess Barbie's like, okay, whatever, just move on from this. And Kelly's like, of course, like, we're, it's all about Barbie, it's whatever. And Barbie's like, oh, I'm really sorry that you can't handle having the attention off of you because the attention always has to be on you. Then Rob out of fucking nowhere gets involved in all of this, and he's like, well, like, explain, how is it tacky? Sir, did you watch last season? Until you've watched last season, you can't speak. And I guarantee this man did not watch last season. So, give examples. You want people to give examples because you didn't watch the fucking show. So, come off it. You know what I mean? And I did love, though, that Joey did say, because not only did you not see last season, but you just fucking showed up. And Joey says, listen, Rob, you just showed up in this conversation like 5 seconds ago. You're not seeing the whole thing play out, so stay out of it. And Kelly is kind of like, well, he just need to, to defend me. You can't defend yourself. You need him to defend you. Listen, appreciate it. Thanks. But I can speak up for myself. I don't need you to speak up for me. When it's my dilemma, my issue. This is a fight that started between A and B. You can be involved in it. So, like, but we'll get a little more on that. And yeah, Rob's like, you're just giving generic answers. And she's like, how is me saying that the season was tacky generic? It's very true. She's like, how much more details do you need me to say? It was fucking tacky in the story. I'll give examples. If Robert didn't want to, I'll do it. How about having sons pick mom's underwears to see whose underwears are mom's? There's an example. How about the fact that Kelly was like a dog in heat with fucking, what was his name? Carlos? Whatever the fuck his name was. Doing it on purpose knowing it would piss his mom off. Okay? How about the fact that you had the oldest person on the show with the youngest person on the show, aka her son? There's other examples of how tacky this last season was. Oh, let's talk about secrets and how you had So Young sleeping with her son's friends. There's another reason. Like, it's just, come on. Those are your examples. Fuck. There you go, Rob. But anyway. Then Barbie kind of says, like, you can't even look me in the eye when you're having, like, this conversation. And Kelly's response is, you're weird. What? It doesn't matter how weird she may or may not be, whatever your thought process is on that. You could look her in the eye when you're telling her shit. You can't look her in the eye because like, everything she's about to say or has been saying is true. Because Barbie then ends this off with, you're fake. You're trying to create a fake connection with somebody to stay relevant. You have, am I weird because I don't wear crop tops or have bad extensions? Or I don't even know if Barbie has extensions at all, but like, you know what I mean? Like, that makes me weird. Okay. Anyway, Kelly responds back with, happy birthday, psycho, or whatever the fuck. But before she kind of does say that, Crystal kind of comes out of nowhere, and Kelly's like, you wouldn't believe this, bitch. And they're like powwowing about how crazy Barbie is. And Crystal's like, why is she so mad? Because the attention's not on her because it's her birthday. Why is it our problem that it's her birthday? And how she's like doing all of this. It has nothing to do with Barbie's birthday. Now, Barbie literally saying, coming at me on someone's birthday in front of their family and friends, it's less about your birthday and more about her embarrassing herself in front of people's family and friends. It's more about that. Your birthday is not my problem, their problem, anyone's problem. Is it unfortunate? Sure. But it's not no one's problem that it's your birthday. These people don't know you from Adam. They're not going to celebrate you the way maybe you want them to. And this is how it's going to be. So, but I do think it's less about that, just more about the fact that, like, it was just uncalled for. And then Crystal inserting herself in the whole mix and kind of being like, well, you did this to me. Well, Crystal, you were too much. You were staking your claim on everybody. Anthony, Darren, Stacy. Like, you were staking your claim on all these men initially, and you wanted to get up in your shit because Barbie, God forbid, was talking to one of them. You know what I mean? So, if anything, you think you should be the top hoe and is jealous that initially, anyways, Barbie was. That's your problem. That's not Barbie's. Anyway. But now everyone is going to be leaving. Kelly starts crying when Joey leaves, but it's probably more because of the argument. And she thanks Rob for defending her. She says, no one has defended me like that, not even my father. So yeah, she's grateful for that. And then we see Barbie and Chris in the Wilfie room. And she's kind of just having this realization that she just wants to leave. She's like, why be here when I've come here and achieved the thing you're supposed to achieve in this house, which is finding a connection she now has. She's like, let's get the fuck out of here. And he's all about it. So both Chris and Barbie are going to dip out in the middle of the night, and Chris goes into his room, and Anthony's actually awake, and he tells Anthony that this is what they're going to be doing. They're going to be leaving. And he's like, don't tell anyone right now, or I don't know, eventually people are going to know you left. But he's like, thank you for being the fatherly figure for me. I know my dad would appreciate that. And he's like, yeah, no problem. Do you have a toothbrush? Your drawer bag? You're good to go? So, yeah, that's kind of basically it. They leave in the middle of the night, and yeah, it's not the last of them. We are going to see them in the next episode. I think it's the final episode. But yeah, we are going to see them. We're not done with them quite yet. But yeah, they've left, and I think, like, honestly, maybe for the best. I don't know. But anyway, that's it for MILF Manor. Again, I want to just thank everyone for their patience, trying to get through as much as I can. Of course, these are going to be late. We might have, like, Bachelorette, the second episode come out before I can get the first one out to you. But I'm working on it as best I can, and hopefully I'll get some episodes out to you guys. But in the meantime, that is it for this episode. I think what I'm thinking of doing next is, I know I still have to get Perfect Match out to you. I have not forgotten, but I just want to kind of catch up on these other episodes first. But I think the next episode that I'll probably get out to you guys is going to be probably, I don't know, maybe HEA? That might be next. If not HEA, it'll be the other way. But either way, like, I think we'll probably just do HEA next, and then the other way after that. And then we'll probably be in a good spot, roughly. But yeah, that is it for this episode. So if you like what you heard, please rate, review the podcast on either Apple Podcasts or Spotify. Also, don't forget that you can also share us with everyone in your life if you really love this. And I do want to read those reviews. I'm definitely getting 5-star ratings, but I want to read those reviews. So send me those reviews and I will read those 4 and 5-star reviews on the podcast. Also, we're on every one of your favorite podcast apps, every one of them, including you can find us on YouTube at Reality Tea Times 2. If you want to connect with us, you can do so by going to either Facebook or Instagram at Reality Tea Times 2. You can also find us on Twitter, TikTok, Reddit at Reality Tea Times 2 pod. We also have our email, which is at realityteatimes2 at hotmail.com. Definitely want to hear from you guys. And we also have our new website where you can listen to all of these episodes. You can review the podcast on there as well. You can connect with me in any way, all the stuff. It's all there, and you can find me there at www.realityteatimes2, all spelled out, .podpage.io. It's there. And don't forget, I also have my other podcast with my friend Mikkel, Next Take Podcast, where we talk about all kinds of different topics. But you can find us on any of your favorite podcast apps over there as well. Or you can also go to YouTube, and you go to Next Take Podcast, as well as our website, which is solo.to/Next Take Podcast. So yeah, there's that, and that's basically that. And again, don't forget, if all of this information is overwhelming, we do have all of the links, everything in our show notes. But that is it for now, guys. Thanks. Bye.